This is a test of the boundary part alert system.
Hello.
Hello. Welcome to the Latics Football Phone-In with me and him, Matt Dean and Dave Bradley.
How you doing? You okay, guys?
Hey, everyone's fine. Thanks, Dave. Thanks for asking, though.
Good.
We appreciate it. We've had a right laugh today, haven't we, Dave?
We have indeed, yeah.
We spent pretty much the whole day together.
Yeah, we hadn't killed each other. We had a lovely romantic meal for two.
We went for a meal, yeah. Lovely meal.
Yeah.
At Friends Restaurant on Ashton Road. If you don't know it, it's lovely kebabs in there, isn't it, Dave?
Yeah, and you paid finally as well. Nice.
Yeah, because it's pretty cheap.
Yeah, well, that's about right. Yeah. So, yeah, how's your week been, Matt?
What day is it, Dave? Wednesday.
Wednesday.
It's been pretty good, yeah. It's been pretty good. I try not to think too much about Latics because that tends to ruin things.
Yeah, it's been a challenging couple of weeks, hasn't it? Especially after Saturday.
To be honest, I'm saying that, but really, I mean, this season isn't. I think it's going all right. It's fine. We've got enough points on the board. You know what we want. We've played 7, lost 3, drawn 2, won 2.
Not good enough.
Well, we've not lost more than we've lost.
Well, we have lost more than we've won.
This is true. Yeah, but you know, it's about expectations. I think.
Not
I believe
good enough, Matt.
Last week on the phone-in, it was a good one last week.
It was.
I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
But Brad came on.
Yeah, good Brad. Yeah.
Good Brad. That's his
I'm
name.
good. I'm bad Brad. He's good Brad.
Bad Bradley.
But Brad called me Goat Brad. So yeah, but not greatest of all times because I look like a goat.
Because you bar a lot.
Well,
because you're bad. But he came on claiming that Shez was not the man to take us forward.
a lot of agreed, a lot disagreed.
And he gave us lots of stats and stuff.
Stats, facts, super attacks.
Yeah, and it was a good debate. But one of the things that we've not had that many of in recent weeks has been callers.
Yeah.
So what we did, because this is a phone-in, but what we didn't do was explain necessarily how to do it, how to get in touch. We've done quite a few now. Yeah. But we've explained it, and we've a queue of people tonight waiting to come on the show, which is fantastic.
Really good to see.
So what we'll do is we'll keep them all waiting for ages and just yap on.
Yeah. No. Can I just say a quick happy birthday to Reese from his stepdad Danny and his mum Zoe.
You can.
Many happy returns, mate.
Can I say happy birthday, Reese, as well, please?
Are you still allowed to talk to children after that episode thing? No. Okay, fine. It's fine.
I know Reese.
Yeah, I'm okay.
He's a good lad.
Yeah. So happy birthday, mate. And also, can we just wish the best to Hallam Hope on a serious note as well? Yeah. Because obviously the club statement this week from Motherwell Athletic, he was seriously injured. And it's an ongoing investigation, but we just want to wish you all the best from the phone because you are a fan's favourite and your work rate is undeniable. And
he's got 3 goals this season so far.
Sorely missed.
So all the best, Hallam. Hope you get well soon, mate. Just relax. Getting back to football is the least of your priorities, mate. I'm sure he's watching.
Your best have been.
But yeah, just take your time when we all wish you well, mate.
That wasn't a threat. Your best have been. No, it's seriously
too soon, Dave. So all the best, Hallam. And yeah, so what's we've actually? Oh right, yeah. Well, if you have, okay, this is how prepared we are. If you haven't called in and you still don't know how, then the Latics Football Phone-In is live every Wednesday between 8:30 and 9:30. If you want to join the conversation, then you need to join us on our StreamYard link, which looks something like this. You'll find the StreamYard link in our pinned post on Facebook, Twitter, and in the comments section on YouTube. So if you want to join the debate, that's how you do it.
Very professional.
We're on it, aren't we?
Yeah,
We're on it.
Well, one of us is.
Totally on it. Yeah, me. So before we touch on the Chesterfield game then, and start getting stuck into some callers to talk about it, should we do one of the most popular features on the show?
Well, in the world, the most popular feature.
Should we do it the opposite way around to what we did it on the schedule?
Yeah, we'll do a running order and then you'll just ignore it. So do what you want.
I see it more as a reminder.
We'll do it then.
But it is one of the most popular things on the internet right now, isn't it?
Yeah, before even Facebook and Twitter. So.
More popular than kittens.
Come on, ref!
Go away!
That's a shocking decision!
Calm down, play advantage.
Ref,
The ref review.
Lewis, it's fine. Lewis, I accept your apology. It happens to the best of us. It's fine, honestly. Right, I'll see you later. But just improve, mate, yeah? That was Lewis Smith. Referee for Oldham Athletic versus Chesterfield on Saturday. He had a shocker. He was bad. Didn't manage to time wasting effectively. Give really crappy decisions in terms of yellow cards. Missed a penalty and just made the game about him. A referee should be unnoticed at all times, unless you're the king of the laws like me. Lewis, it's a 1 out of 10 and a red card from me.
The ref review. I don't remember the ref taking a penalty on Saturday.
He missed a penalty claim. Yeah, it's just referee lingo. You just don't understand not being a ref, you know.
Now, you do actually know Lewis, don't you?
I do.
And
he rang me, and he apologised
profusely
for his dire performance.
And how does he feel about you slating him on the internet?
We'll find out, won't we? Well, he was bad. He was bad.
What level does he usually ref at?
He's National League level.
But they're not used to crowds like that in the National League, are they?
Yeah, they are. Yeah.
Is that?
He did like decent games last season. He was doing like Boreham Wood versus.
Well, they're not used to crowds at Boreham Wood. We'll be able to ask Brett about that in a bit when it comes on.
Stockport versus Bromley. That was a big game last season. Did really well. It's just one of those things. You all have a bad day, unlike me when you're a referee. But
we have plenty of bad days when you're on here.
Yeah. But yeah, he was poor. He was poor. But things can only get better or worse.
Should we bring in Andrew? Should we just give him a little warning?
And to all the other callers, we will bring you in. Just be a bit patient because it is great that you're all honest. We do appreciate it. So just be a bit patient.
Yeah, we'll try and get through. Is Andrew Lee there? He's not coming. So I'll tell you what, we'll go to the next in the queue.
Anthony.
We'll bring Anthony because we can see him.
He's just about to drink his cup of tea.
He's having a cup of tea there. There you go. All right, Anthony.
Evening.
How you doing, mate?
I'm not so bad, lads. How are you?
Yeah, great. Thank you. Thanks for clicking in.
Yeah, following the instructions, the concise instructions. Yeah.
Yeah, I've been meaning to do it since you've started, really, but I've finally got the courage to kind of show my face.
I don't blame you for not getting for not joining.
No, I do. You should be on every week. No, I'm joking. No, brilliant. Thank you. What have you got? What do you want to say, Anthony?
Not a lot, mate. I want you to ask me something.
All right.
Yeah, you were the hosts.
Yeah. All right. What's your favourite colour? No,
were you at the game on Saturday?
I was.
Right. Tell us about what you thought of the performance on Saturday then.
Well, it was garbage, weren't it? Let's be honest. It was. What was it? 45 seconds in.
Yeah.
Absolute disaster, and we never recovered, did we? 7 minutes later, and game's completely finished. And it's a bit similar in many ways to previous seasons where go 1-0 down, you think, can we get a draw? Go 2-0 down, and like you're starting to think like, well, that's probably it. I can't see us scoring 2 at the moment, never mind 3 to win.
What do you think of other than Chesterfield, we've had a few poor games at home, haven't we? Like Wealdstone and in some cases Aldershot. What have you thought of our home form?
I mean, we've had little bits, haven't we? We've had 5 or 10 minutes where we've kind of got into the game and started to control it, but we've never ever had good spells of 20, 30 minutes where we're on top and we've really pegged the teams back in, So I think it definitely is a work in progress, isn't it? There's no way we've got going this season whatsoever, really. But obviously, with the top scorer now out of action, so to speak, you'd like to think that we might actually get that striker that I think a lot of people are wanting.
In terms of the recruitment, what do you think that is? How do you think that's been this season?
It's a bit of an unknown, really, isn't it? Because I think for probably a lot of Latics fans, we don't really follow the National League. We've had our eyes on Leagues 1 and 2 for donkey's years. And a lot of these players that we've signed, other than reading that they've, played for Stockport in promotion teams, etc. Speaking from a personal point of view, they come as a bit of an unknown, really.
So who do you think has been a decent signing? Who do you think has been a bad signing? Because for me, I think re-signing Stubbs was probably a bad decision. Do you agree?
I can only think that he's extremely cheap. And he's one of them players that, he'll put 12 crosses in, and one of them crosses is absolutely fantastic. It's got plenty of pace on it. He's beat his man, but the other 11, they're just non-existent, really. So I don't know. I don't know if it's got the influence of this squad's been assembled under the previous regime. And, do we have to wait till next season to see a squad assembled under the new regime? You know what I mean?
It was very, very tough summer, though, wasn't it? I mean, there's a takeover going on, a lot of uncertainty, for a time, for 4 weeks at least there was kind of the club's in limbo. So where do you stand on the consolidation versus the we should be pushing for promotion stance?
Well, I don't want to fall foul of Patrick, but I think I'm a bit of a consolidation person, but stroke a bit. Use the word realistic. I think we just got to kind of accept that this year is not a write-off as such, but I think we just got to be a bit realistic to appreciate that a lot of this squad has been assembled, as I say, under the Lemsinghams kind of thing, and I think we're just finding our feet, really, to be honest.
Do you think Sheridan's the right man for the job?
Well, it was one of them. I was having slight doubts before last week's phoning, and when the Chesterfield guy was on saying what his experiences he felt as a Chesterfield fan, i.e., not much scouting of the other teams, not much tactics, not really interested in the youth team. Now, if half of that is true, what he's saying, it's a bit worrying kind of thing. But I mean, obviously, we all want. It was a bit like when Andy Ritchie was the manager, when Frank Bunn was the manager. Every Latics fan wanted the ex-player to succeed more than, say, a Dave Penny or Ronnie Moore or something like that. So it is a tricky one. I mean, we really do want Shez to succeed, but it's one of them. Only time will tell, as we've seen today. The fella at Chelsea, he's got the bullet, and he only just won the Champions League, didn't he? So, there's no one's infallible, are they? Everyone's going to lose the job at some point.
I think it's a results-based business, and I think the next 4 weeks is quite telling for Shez. If we don't, we've got Boreham Wood, Woking, Eastleigh, and who's the other? Is it Bromley? Is it? I think it's Bromley, isn't it? Yeah. And if we don't get decent results after them, because I'd say they're mid-range, other than Bromley, who were pushing for the playoffs last season.
Yeah,
they are mid-range sort of teams, so I think the pressure will be on.
Yeah, they're all very nice, sort of National League sounding names, aren't they? And that's because that's what they are. The teams of this level, and so are we now. And that's what we have to remember. We're here because we've struggled, and not because we've been doing well. And there's a lot to turn around. I tell you what, let's bring our mate in, the finest sandwich maker and bin man combination in the whole of Oldham.
All right, bin man.
Bin man.
How you doing, guys? You all good?
Yeah, you, mate.
Not bad, mate.
Yeah, I'm good, thank you, mate.
Tell us how you're feeling, my friend. It's all about you right now, bin man.
Well, it's all about. Well, I've got to take it off you sometime, haven't I, Matt?
Yeah.
It's hard to think because I had this conversation today with another fellow Latics fan, and it's hard to criticise when you've been taken over and you've wanted change and now you've got it, but. If that makes a bit of sense, but I think the football's just been it's been woeful, hasn't it? It's just, it's been hard to watch. It has, and like the last call, pardon me for not knowing your name, I did forget, but, he said that we haven't had a spelling in any games where I think we're doing really well here, and, it is hard been to watch, and touching on from Saturday, You know, Sheridan obviously has done his team talk, gone out, and it's gone out the window in 35 seconds because of an absolute howler from the keeper. You know, how do you come back from that?
I think you can't account. You know, there's some things you can't mitigate for and coach for. You know that errors happen. You know what I mean? Look, the biggest players in the game make these sort of errors. You know, look at
Peter Crouch. He's massive.
No, but look at Karius, you know, at the Champions League final where he rolled the ball out in the biggest stage, biggest arena, you know.
Yeah.
It just happens that. But the second goal is unforgivable because that did kill us, didn't it, when you lose possession on the edge of your box trying to take an attacking midfielder on when Jordan Clark did that. It's just...
The thing is, though, that when that first goal went in, everybody knew. It was kind of like, oh.
Yeah.
After a few seconds, we all knew, didn't we? And then we knew that this is like, you can't give the team the top of the league a goal start like that, and then as soon as the other one went in, like even the Atleticos were sitting down, weren't they? It was just I
thought we came back though in the next 20 minutes passages of play. We just Tolly went through, made the wrong decision, went for the glorious shot, and should have squared it to Hope. Hope was unlucky and deflected one wide. Now on another day, they could have gone in. Do you know what I mean? And as I say, it just killed us. The confidence just eked out of us very quickly. So it makes me wonder whether Shez gives the players confidence as such. Does he motivate them properly? You know what I mean? Because looking at it, the old Sheridan, when we did it against Millwall, when we were 2-0 down after 10 minutes, but we were beaten 4-3 when Chris Taylor scored, there was a different side, better players. I know it's a higher division, but we had a bit more bite and a bit more gusto and a few more characters in there, didn't we? And
you know what, though? But I think that's the thing. Like, I think we spoke to Tony Cars on the phone on the podcast last season, and talking about the types of players and what players are like these days, and like what motivates them and what doesn't motivate them. And you know, Shez is very much of the old school, isn't it? Mm-hmm. In terms of, and I think maybe I don't know because I don't know the lads and I don't know what they're like, and it's just that lads that are now in their 20s, early 20s, have maybe just come up and through different kind of system that.
Well, there's no reserve team football anymore, is there? That's one of the big differences.
I guess so. Yeah. Like how do you motivate young lads now, and what type of management style is needed? And
well, Sheridan doesn't use a lot of the kids, though, does he? That's my biggest bugbear. You know, Harry Vaughan is screaming for a start, and he just doesn't want to start him. I just don't get him.
He didn't even make the squad, did he? He didn't even make the squad.
We need players like that. We need young, good players like Harry Vaughan. But like you're saying about Sheridan there, guys, you know, I like the fella. I love him. I won't have a bad word to say about him, but it's a big month for him, this. It's a big month. We need at least 7 points out of this month. We do. We got, like you said, Dave, we got Boreham Wood, Woking, Eastleigh and Bromley. It's a big month. It's a big month. And they're not big teams, are they? Not disrespecting them, but they're not, are they?
No, but we are at that level now, aren't we? Are you going to all the games, big man?
Yeah, I am. I'll be there Saturday.
What about you, Anthony? Do you travel much or?
No, I used to do back in the day kind of thing, but I mean, this is my first season back after the COVID situation and then boycotting last season. But it's just the home games for me kind of thing at the moment.
Where do you sit, Anthony?
Back of the Rochdale Road end.
Right, brilliant.
Yeah, it's quality in there, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It's best stand by a mile.
Yeah. I believe the club are looking at possibly doing something in the future for people in wheelchairs, because one of the problems with the stand is that if everyone stands up, the people that are sat in the chairs at the back suddenly, from having a clear view, it goes like that. So you're having to like lift yourself up a bit to see. But you know, obviously as Dave said, after 7 minutes on Saturday, everyone thought sod this and sat down. So we had quite a good view of a rubbish game.
It was unusual, wasn't it, for everyone to be sat down like by half time, like that before half time. That's an indicator. And this is the thing, though. Like I'm thinking about this, and you know, you talk about the atmosphere, and you look back at some of the games last season. Does it really? People always say, "Oh, the crowd makes a big difference." If you're not good enough, does it make a difference? Or does it make a difference if you're good enough and you just need that extra bit of something?
No.
Because it doesn't appear to make a difference to me.
No, it doesn't. Unless you're on the crest of a wave, you know what I mean? But again, Aldershot, we've huffed and puffed, but we played a different system. That's why we were better than Aldershot, because we put 4 at the back and pinned them in. This 3-5-2, I don't know what he's doing. Torquay is the only game that we played decent in, but again, it just doesn't work, does it?
Should we have a quick listen to Shez and talk about shape?
Yeah.
This seems like a good time to bring it in. Shez on shape.
Shez, do you think we need to show a bit more now to be a bit more nastier in the midfield?
Yeah, all over. Well, not just midfield, all over the place. All over the place, definitely. You gotta have this. You don't have to be a nasty person, but you can be a different person for 90 minutes. And I definitely feel we need some of them out on the pitch. And I think we've got one or two, but we need to do it more. You've got to have this willingness and desire to do things ugly. You don't have to be everyone's best mate on the pitch. Go out there and just win the game. You can be the best mate after that and have a drink and more and a chat with them. And I do really. Football's a different game now. Different game.
In terms of the fans, though, they did still carry on singing all the way through.
The fans don't want to hear me. I'm the manager. I pick the team. I take a lot of the blame. I've picked the team, and the shape. So I don't want to go on about the fans. I feel down for the fans, but they don't want to hear me say that because they know what I feel. Win or lose, they know what I think about them. So, but I just want to win all the time. Players should adjust. If you're playing a 3-5-2, I think we played a 3-5-2 at Torquay. We were excellent. We played 3-5-2 in other periods where we've been really good. 4-3-3 we've done. Shape is the game is naturally it changes into a 4-4-2, a 4-3-3, a 3-5-2 all during the game. It's players reading the game and adjusting and just knowing what their job is, where I should be on the pitch, what I should be doing, how many diagonal. Every time we hit a diagonal ball today, and young Dave done it we give him problems. For some reason, we stopped doing it. In a 3-5-2 against a 4, the diagonals. And then all of a sudden, Mandeville will drop in, one of their better players, and the left-sided midfield player will drop in because we're getting a lot of joy. But we stopped doing it. And then when we come back out, we will dribble in the middle of the pitch, and for some reason, misplace a pass which is so easy, they break on us. And I'm pulling my hair out at times, and we've got some good players, and I'm not someone anyone who knows me, I try not to make excuses because of the goal first minute or whatever. We've got a lot of injuries at the moment. Obviously, Dan going off didn't help. We missed Porter's cuteness up top, experience, and there's other areas. So we've just got to work hard, try and get the players back. Just got to improve. To be brutally honest, we've got to improve and stop losing games and go and try and win games a lot better than what we're doing.
What do you make of that, lads? Does it fill you with much confidence that he can get that improvement?
No.
In a nutshell.
Go on, elaborate on that, mate.
Yeah,
thanks. It sounds depressing. It sounds like he's telling me someone just passed away.
He sounds a bit frustrated and quite desperate in some respects, doesn't he?
Yeah, he sounds down. Don't sound good, does it? Don't fill you with confidence. But he's right, we go from a 3-5-2 to during the game we go to a 4-3-3. I think we should go 4-4-2.
Yep, agreed.
And play Fond up, and obviously, I said this on Saturday, obviously not knowing about Hope. I would have played Fond up and Hope and put Tollett on the left. And put Stubbs on the right. I'd go traditional 4-4-2. I think that's what he's crying out for, but who am I?
It sounds to me though like his main frustration is the fact that John Sheridan, his main strength was reading the game, wasn't it? He didn't move that much. He had great control. He had great vision. He read the game really well. He was very, very accurate with his passes, and he read the game brilliantly. And I think when you read the game really, really well, it's frustrating when you have players that don't read the game really well. They're frustrating to play with because you see the runs, you see the spaces, you see the passes. They don't, and it's really hard to play with. So I think it's the same for Shezzy and his coach. I think he gets very frustrated that the players aren't adaptive enough and good enough in play, and he can't coach that in the game. And I think that is where he needs to get more out of them in training, I think, in terms of working with them, coaching them, and get, as a team, building that kind of confidence in the shape, and just spending hours and hours and hours just going over these things, because how else are they going to learn it if not doing it that way?
Yeah, definitely have to agree.
Shall we? I tell you what, Anthony, thanks for getting in touch. And getting the confidence.
Hope to see you again, mate.
I'll see you in the next round, and we'll bring in Brett. So thanks for that, Anthony, because he's been very, very patient and he's been waiting in the green room. And we were talking about the weekend there, and we play Boreham Wood. And those eagle-eyed amongst you will note that Brett is wearing a Boreham Wood shirt. And those who are very, very eagle-eyed will know, like I knew this, that it was a commemorative shirt from the 5th round of the FA Cup.
Match worn.
Last season. Match worn. How are you, Brett? Oh, you're on mute, mate.
Unmute yourself, Brett.
Hello.
Yes, very well. Thanks, chaps. How are you?
Very well indeed. Thank you very much for coming on
Yeah.
and helping us on our first season in the National League, understand a bit more about our opposition, because the majority, I don't know if it's the majority, but certainly there's a lot of teams in this division that we haven't played before. And correct me if I'm wrong, we've never played Boreham Wood. I don't remember us ever playing in the Cup or anything like that.
I don't think so, no.
No,
I don't think so.
It's the first time. So I seem to recall from a bit Boreham Wood being on BT quite a few times last season. And if I'm right in thinking, they had a very, very big, very, very strong defensive line that stood out, and you were a very, very difficult team to score against. Is that right?
Yes, that was right last season. I mean, it's still sort of the case this season, but I think basically our form sort of tailed off at the end. But yeah, I mean, up until about February or March, our defence was fantastic. We hardly let any goals.
And how's this season shaping up for you so far?
Yeah, it started off well. I mean, it's quite interesting that we've played 4 games away, won them all, but we've played 3 at home and haven't won any of them. So
that's promising.
It's a bit odd. I mean, it's promising for you guys, definitely. But
you see, unfortunately for us, Brett, we're one of those teams where, like, if somebody hasn't won for 8 years and then they play Oldham, that's when they get the first win. Yeah, that kind of thing happens all the time, doesn't it? So Southend hadn't won a game all season, and then we went down there this season and they beat us. So don't be too despondent at that stat, because there's definitely hope for you.
Currently, are you about 5th at the moment in the National League?
Yes, we're 5th in the league.
Yeah. So, in terms of Luke Garrard, he's been there a number of years as a player and a manager. What sort of manager is he? Is he an expansive sort of exciting style of play, or is he a bit more conservative as such?
He's probably a bit more conservative. I think even he'd admit that. I mean, it's all defence first, and then sort of build from the back, really. So I think we've always had strong defences since he's been there.
Right.
I think that's always been the key.
Have you had any?
Sorry, I was just saying.
No, go on.
When we've had successful seasons, it's usually been because we've had some good forwards to put the ball in there. You know, that's.
Well, looking at the table from as it stands now, top 5: Chesterfield, Wrexham, Notts County, Solihull Moors, and Boreham Wood. They're all teams that did well last season, aren't they? Were in and around in the mix. Do you think that this division is? You obviously, how many divisions have you been in? How many seasons have you been in this division for now?
Since 2015, so this is our 8th season.
So when you've seen teams like Oldham, Notts County, Chesterfield, and whatnot come down, has it taken clubs like ours time to adapt and adjust and build again?
Yes, very much so. Now, what we found is, I mean, there's been clubs like Leyton Orient and Tranmere that have come down and have had, and even Hartlepool, they've had sort of bad runs at the beginning. Quite often they've been in the bottom half of the table, maybe in their first seasons, and then somehow they've got back up, but not sort of immediately. They'll come back up after 2, 3 or 4 years. So obviously, I mean, unfortunately, with only one automatic promotion spot and one in the playoffs, it's very difficult to go back up. Teams like Wrexham will have known, because they're in their 15th year in this league. I mean, I'm sure you guys don't want 15 years in this league, do you?
Oh, no. Don't wish us that. Come on, mate. That's not fair.
No, we don't. But, I mean, like Stockport, that was 11 years, and obviously they went down again, and York have been down again, and we've had other teams that have done similar. It's really, really tricky. And yeah, I mean, we obviously within our fan base, we've got a number of fans that expect that we should be bouncing back pretty much straight away now that we've got new owners, and then there's other people that are a bit more. Yeah, I mean, the thing is about it though, for people like Bin Man, who's still there, Bin Man.
I am,
who travels home and away, like, you know, pretty much every game. You're getting a lot of new. You're getting a lot of new grounds. What's it going to be like? What's it like for the away fan, Brett? What can Binman have to look forward to on Saturday when he goes down?
Well, hopefully a warm welcome. Hopefully a defeat, but yeah,
not a chance.
But no, I think it's a nice place, and hopefully, hopefully you'll be comfortable there, and hopefully you'll have a good day out apart from the match.
Is there plenty of boozers and stuff around the ground and that kind of thing?
There are. I mean, unfortunately, the bar in the ground's a bit small for sort of home and away fans. Unfortunately, away fans can't go in there. But yeah, there are plenty of pubs in the high street, which is probably a 10-minute walk or 5-10-minute walk from the ground.
That's good. That's what you want, really. Good. That's ideal.
Yeah.
Changing my mind now, Dave. What do you think?
I mean, unfortunately, it's just not big enough to drink in the bar, you know.
In terms of Leon Love, though, he signed him from Brackley Town. He's had a bit of a good start, hasn't he? 4 goals in 6 games. He seems like a bit of a decent coup, hasn't he? You know, from the National League South, he did all right, didn't he?
Yeah, he's been very good. I mean, he got sent off in his first game, so he didn't really endear it. I mean, he got sent off in his first game. It was a second sort of bookable offence, but so he only missed one game. But I think it took him a couple of games to sort of get in on the back of that. And yeah, he's been exceptional, like 4 goals in the last 3 games. And he just looks really strong and really, really good. He could be
Well, that's the thing, and it's signing from the lower league. So, you know, this is what I think a lot of Latics fans need to appreciate, that if you wanted to get decent players, you've got to look to the lower leagues as well as the leagues around us. You know, trying to sign a championship player on loan, it doesn't seem to work. You need to get these hungry players for the national league.
Well, Brad said that last week, didn't he, on the phone last week?
Yeah.
You know, we need to be looking down there, because it's all right getting the ones from the Football League, get experience from the Football League, but we need young, hungry kids coming up from the Conference North, South. That's what we need to look at.
I think it's a case of knowing your league. I think maybe Oldham have probably been looking in, sort of previously had been looking in Championship or League One. Now they've probably got to look at the Conference North or sort of National League North players. I mean, sort of most of our players that we've signed or that have been good in the last few years have come from the lower league, haven't necessarily come from our league or from an EFL club. That's quite telling. It's a case of sort of picking the sort of young, hungry players that are, and there are quite a lot.
Yeah, or picking the young, hungry players in your own squad, which might be helpful. On Saturday, I'll just bring this up here because I want to talk a little bit about the team. But Joe reckons that 4-2-3-1 could do well with Tollett, Vaughan, and Burgess as the 3. Possible? What do you think, Dave?
Bit lightweight for me.
Yeah. Fondop is the 1, presumably.
Yeah.
And have you still got those big, solid lads up at the back that like will win every header? Because sticking Fondop on his own against those lads seems like he's going to be in for a torrid time on Saturday. If he just pinging big balls up to him, I can't see him getting much joy.
No.
We've got some big lumps at the back. I think it's they're big lumps, and the thing is they're quite sort of mobile as well. So it's not a case of just necessarily getting a sort of nippy player in front of them. They're very good at tackling. They're very good at sort of getting stuck in.
Yeah.
And
so we've got our work cut out.
They don't give a lot of fouls away, which is good.
Yeah, it's going to be a really tough game. I think, especially you know what we said about Hallam Hope. He's out now for the foreseeable future, and he's by far our most energetic player. Covers loads of ground, harasses defenders all the time. He scored 3 goals already this season, so really massive miss.
Yeah.
So that's a real shame. So it really is up to Shez now to figure out how to. Well, I mean, it's one door closes and another opens. You like to hope at least for somebody else who's going to come in.
Well, you'd hope so.
So
I mean, I hear a lot about you guys talking about the lack of sort of youth players that he's sort of bringing through, and he doesn't seem to care too much about the youngsters at the club. I mean, I find it quite hard to believe, because I think at this level, you really have to look at those youngsters, especially if they have been in sort of football league academies and things like that. So maybe I think not good enough. I don't know, but
I don't know, but because last season what he said was that he didn't want to throw them in a relegation fight. That it was kind of like too much pressure on them, right? So, but like start of this season, it was a clean slate, and he still doesn't seem to want to play them. So that kind of makes the comment about not playing them last season for that reason seem a little bit hollow, if you know what I mean. So, yeah. But listen, sorry, Brett, but we've got quite a few callers that we need to get through. So I would like you to give us a prediction. Obviously, you hope Boreham Wood are going to win on Saturday, but what do you think, based on the overall analysis, the result's going to be?
1-0 to Boreham Wood.
Yeah, he's probably right.
I think we're going to really struggle to score on Saturday. So, yeah, I'm thinking it's going to be a fairly low. I'm hoping it's going to be a fairly low scoring game anyway, because I think if there is goals, they'll be coming in our way. Because I'm going to go. I don't like predicting against Latin. I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw or 0-0. I think
we're going to sneak a 1-0.
There we go.
But Brett, again, mate, we really appreciate reaching out to you on Facebook and being so accommodating, coming on our show. And hopefully we'll get you back on when we've got the Boreham Wood game at home later on in the season. If you fancy it, mate. All right, mate.
Cheers, mate. Thanks for coming on. Yeah, all the best, Brett. Right, bring Gaz in. Gaz,
are you there, mate?
Yo, can you hear me?
Yes, we've got you, mate.
You still in Malaga?
How you doing? No, back home now.
Oh, yeah. You sound delighted about that.
Yeah, lovely 5-hour delay, but yeah, made it home eventually.
Good. What's up, mate? What do you want to say?
Obviously, so I listened in to the last 2 games. I checked in with Bin Man and Brad and whatnot, seeing what were going on, but I just think, and this is about me even being there, we're not set up to win games, and we haven't been all season. I know it's really easy to say, there's no plan and no tactics, but if you listen to Shez pre-match and post-match, even his interviews lack details. There's no fine detail into anything. We've got to do better. We've got to do it quicker. How? What's he doing about it? The guy who's just been on from Boreham Wood said himself they've got decent centre-halves, good in the air, quick. No doubt on Saturday we'll whack it up to Fondop all game. He'll win a couple of flick-ons. Who's going to be near him?
There's no one around him, is there?
No, and I just think we're absolutely we're missing a trick here, capitalising on all the good feel. The crowds, a mate of mine said, because I said the crowds will start to dwindle, and he said they won't dwindle, Gaz, they'll plummet. And I think he's right, and it's a shame. We won't get 6,000 against Eastleigh, not if we're not winning games. We won't, and it is a real shame because the momentum was there to really build on it. The one thing I'll say about Shez is I love him. He was the only guy who could have given us something last season. But football's a business, and there's no room for sentiment in business. And if we're not careful, this could go the wrong way. It could go disastrously the wrong way.
How many games do you give him? And for you first, Gaz, how many games would you give him?
Well, this is another argument I have when you hear 10, 15 games. What's the point? If you're going to do that, what's 10 games? What's 15? It's nothing really, is it? But this is where your management team has to be good, and you have to be preventative and not reactive. And if you can see it's not going to work, there's nothing in Sheridan's record to suggest that this is going to change.
Yeah.
So to be honest, I would jump on it now. And I know it's like I said, but there's no room for sentiment in business. And I'd jump on it now. And we've got to go out and get someone hungry, who lives and breathes for coaching, who wants to make a difference. Dave, do you know when you spoke about the Millwall game in 07-08?
Yeah.
Part of the reason we turned that round because we had attention to detail. Do you remember the free kick Taylor scored?
Yeah.
It was off the training ground.
Exactly.
We are seeing nothing off the training ground come onto the pitch. Against Torquay, we looked all right, but we were against another dinosaur. Gary Johnson's a dinosaur as well. And I'm sorry that I'm using that term, but that's just how it feels at the moment.
Well, Shed said it himself, hasn't he? He's a self-confessed dinosaur. He said
honestly, I love the bloke. He's the Lord. My little girl was singing "Here's to You, Johnny Sheridan" the other day. He's still loved in this house, but
yeah, I'll always love him as well.
Where I just think like it's not going to work. But he's giving you heard that interview, and he was just huffing and puffing and looking at the ground. And you look at Shez for answers. I want him to tell us how we're going to change it for next week, and he's not doing.
Well, he mentioned about the big diagonal balls that the new lad was playing from the back, and he said it were working, and we stopped doing it, and it was kind of like, well, was that the only thing we've got? A diagonal ball, like pumped long over the mid, like bypassing the midfield completely.
Well, again, I was criticised for saying it, but I went to the first friendly at Bamber Bridge, and the warning signs were there. We got outplayed in them first 6 pre-season friendlies, and that was playing 4-4-2. We were getting murdered. But Radcliffe Borough were playing 1-2 triangles around us. We just couldn't get near them. And that's why he's dropped the 4-4-2, because against better players in this league, we'd get even nowhere near closer to the ball. But yeah, you're right, Matt. You know, Sheridan was a ball player. Why are we hitting long balls? He said after Southend, Harry Vaughan was our best player and maybe should start playing him more. He's had 6 minutes since.
Yeah.
It's a walking hypocrite at the moment, and I love the bloke to bits, and I'd hate to think it's going to end sour.
We need, I mean, at the end of the day, it's results are what matters, isn't it? I mean, we need wins. We're not having much luck, are we, in terms of like the incident with Hallam Hope, for example?
No,
disastrous. And we've got a long list of injuries. Got a long.
Why don't he get? I mean, I think one way we can save Shez is if we employ a couple of coaches. This was one way we can save him.
Yeah, this was the argument last week that we were having. We not the argument, but the discussion we were having with Brad last week was, can the club do more to support Shez? Are we lacking in important departments in the club that support the manager?
If we're not supporting him, I think we should just get rid of him and bring someone else in, bring his own coaching staff in.
Well, I mean,
do you think
Shez
would accept some coaches? Do you think he'd like that? Because I think he'd hate it and refuse. I think he'd probably tell him walking if he's doing stubborn.
That. A new direction, new ideas. I think he's a bit of a stubborn guy, isn't he?
Well, surely anyone who can come in and help you do your job better is. I mean, I put up with you, and you've come in and helped.
Yeah, but I'm better.
Do you know? To be honest, lads, and it's not going to be a popular view, this, but Shez just hasn't seemed to embrace this takeover at all. I just get the impression he's not. He doesn't seem too happy with it. He doesn't seem as enthused as everyone else. I don't know if he secretly thinks it's a bit of a circus and he don't want no part of it, but he's not embraced it like everyone else has.
Well, listen, I'm going to kick Binman out because he's been on for a while. Cheers, Binman.
No worries, pal.
See you soon, mate.
Cheers, mate.
You owe me a pint, by the way.
And me.
I do.
We'll bring Mids Blue in because you've been waiting very, very patiently there.
Mate. What's your name, mate? Unmute, mate. Or we'll unmute you.
Sorry,
there we
Simon.
Go. Hi, Simon. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm all right, mate. You're right.
What do you make of Gazzy's last point there? That Shez seems a bit underwhelmed by. Isn't that just Shez's kind of demeanour about things in general? What do you reckon?
It's a good point. I can remember when he was last here, and admittedly it was before, and he was saying that the players weren't listening to him then, and he was really despondent, and he's just painting that same picture at the moment. You know, I've just listened back to the soundbite that. When you interviewed him, and you know, if I was in a working life and I say I'm a manager and my people aren't listening to me, the company would think we've got to change it, haven't we? Yeah. And that's what he's saying. He's just saying my players aren't listening to me. They're not doing what I'm asking them to do. You know, and you know, you hit the nail on the head, Mike, Matt, when you say he's doing long diagonal balls. That's not what Shez used to do on the pitch, and it's just, I don't know. It's just, I think he's just lost it massively. I think, you know, he has been probably overwhelmed with the takeover and all that. You know, he's probably overshadowed by the Royals coming in and all that. And I don't know. I think something needs to happen and happen quite quickly because, you know, we've got the next 2,000 fans on the gate. That'll soon start to disappear. Yeah. You know, just quick rough maths. That's 36 grand per game that's coming in, roughly. That we're going to be missing. It's just madness.
That extra money on the gate is pivotal in it in keeping the club ticking over. So I think like you said, Gaz, from a business decision, I mean, for me, it's always a question of, you know, if we're going to support the club, we're going to support, you know, we're going to turn up. If we understand the importance of putting money into the club and getting behind it, are we all that fickle that if we start losing games, we won't bother going? Or, you know, do we think short term in that respect? Or does a proportion of the fan base think like that and other fans think differently?
Well, you can lose games playing well, can't you? But we're not playing well. That's the point for me. I think.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is that you've got a season ticket. Have you got a season ticket, Simon? Yeah. So whether we go or not doesn't matter now because we've spent our money. It's the people that are going to turn up week in, week out.
Yeah.
And are those people affected by the performances to such a degree? Maybe somebody, if there's anybody out there that wants to phone in either this week or next week about that, you know, if you're a pay on the day kind of person, because I mean, it does affect you. I think with pay on the day, you think, can I be asked?
Well, I read on Twitter like a few people saying I'm not going until Sherin's gone. You know, you patches pay on the day. About 4 or 5 comments after the thread, you know, and I said if anyone got any questions, and a few people were quite, you know. Has he gone yet? He needs to go. I'm not coming back if I'm paying this money every week to watch that sort of. They're not playing well, are they? That's the thing. And if I was paying on the day, you know, as much as I love Latics, the last few performances, I wouldn't. But I don't think I'd stomach it.
This is the thing, though. So we all want the club to play well. We all want the team to play well. We want to enjoy winning football matches. We've just been relegated to the National League after the worst owners. After a string of, you know, not particularly brilliant orders. So everything's gone down the pan. How do we rebuild as a club if we're not prepared to all just grind it out, pay our money, turn up, invest in the club and try and help swell the coffers of the club so that we can get out of this division? Because one thing's for sure, if we all stop going, the club's not going anywhere. Apart from
we won't stop going. We won't stop going, will with all that. But like I said, there's an element of 2,000 people. Like I'm in about 4 WhatsApp groups for 6-a-side. I've been bringing 3 or 4 lads with me to each game from that, who aren't season ticket holders, who aren't necessarily Oldham fans at heart, but they've been coming because against Wellstone at home, for example, they were listening to Atletico, they were like, wow, this is great, isn't it? But if you come in, like say, against Chesterfield and the poor lads are out of energy and they're absolutely zapped of enthusiasm and anything to hope for, it kills that experience, and then it puts a lot of pressure on the Atleticos then to keep day trippers interested and to come back, doesn't it? Really.
Well, we've sold 4,000 season tickets, haven't we?
Yeah.
And
so there's 2,000 coming a game.
It's 2,000. It's still 2,600, 2,700 coming a game. Yeah. You know, it's a lot. It's a lot of money.
Yeah.
And if say 500, 600 of them think I'm not going again after that, watching Magnus Norman pass the ball, get closed down in the 45th second, you know, and then showing no resilience or fight back or passion for the shirt because they weren't playing. I'm sorry, I love Oldham, but none of them players were playing for the shirt. Dan Gardner, all right, he had a bit of an injury, but he didn't fancy it, did he? When you watch your captain go down, take a shot and go off, you just didn't fancy it.
He weren't meant to be playing, was he?
Well, would you see Lee Duxbury do that? Or, you know, David Ayres do that? They'd go through till the end, wouldn't they? Mike Milligan would go through to the end if his leg ranging off. But Dan Gardner, I'm sorry, he just didn't fancy it. He thought, I'm not really up for this. You know, all right, there's pain barriers and stuff like that. But as I say, it's the old school now to the new school of thought that I'll look after myself. I don't really fancy it today. You know what I mean?
Can I just ask you something, lads, before I was off in a minute, let you get someone else in, right? When we brought these 2 players in last Friday, the narrative on Twitter and probably the message board was, right, well, that's Clark out at least because the lad is shot. He starts, and then, unless I'm wrong, he took the captain's armband when Gardner went off.
Yeah.
So we can see that lad's suffering. We're all assuming he's out of the team when we sign these defenders because of his performances. He was having an absolute nightmare against Wellstone at home, and he's just not improved since. He got robbed on the box Saturday, and yet Shez starts him, gives him the captaincy when Gardner goes off. I think Shez is a bit blinded when it comes to this term experienced pros, and I think Clark is perhaps someone he was referring to in his interview afterwards.
For sure, yeah. I don't know because it's you know, it took a while for him to drop stops after a few shocking performances. Like you say, Clark is no right to start the game on Saturday with the performances that he's put in. He offers nothing at right back, and I think that's one of the things why he's planning to play with the 3, because I think he's trying to accommodate Jordan Clark, but he doesn't want to play Jordan Clark as one of two centre halves. So that's why he's trying to play him as three. But if
because he don't want the young lads in, does he?
No, so he'd be better. But for me, he'd be better off just getting rid of Clark for sure, and until he sorts his head out. Because whatever it is, it's in his head. Because you don't just lose the ability to play football, but he's not playing well. So
it's confidence in it, and at any level it can happen where the ball's going under your foot, the opposition clock on and say he's struggling, and they get on you. It happens, and it's horrible. And sometimes you've got to be safe from yourself. But Shez is seeing it completely differently to how we are. I think he's part of the reason why Jack Stobbs has struggled, because he just offers nothing. By the way, Jack Stobbs is living rent-free in people's heads more than Barry Owen.
Right, that seems like a good way to end. That seems like a good way to end, Gaz. Thanks for that, mate.
Him off and he's not even been playing.
I know. He was pretty terrible, though, wasn't he? Right, thanks for calling, Gaz.
Should we bring in Michael?
Bring in Michael. He's gone anyway.
Michael.
Hello?
You all right?
Hiya.
Yep.
Good.
How you doing, mate?
I'm all right.
What do you think so far of Latics this season?
Absolutely terrible.
Why so? Come on. All right. Other than the results, what do you think? What needs to change?
The first two games of the season was absolutely class, and I think all the fans and Sheridan all got a bit over themselves about, we're going to go up this season. But and then from, I think, York, from the 60th minute at York, there was nothing what we could say. It was absolutely dreadful, especially in the first half as well.
I agree. The first half is the worst I've ever seen Oldham play for a long, long time. That was so bad. But I think York were poor as well. It was like a practice match, weren't it? Of who wanted to pass the ball to each other.
Yeah. And then against Chesterfield, that first goal was I don't know what you could say about that. That was just it came out as like I don't know, like flying rockets, and we couldn't do anything about it.
They just looked so much quicker, didn't they, and sharper and more wanted it more, didn't they?
Yeah, and then I think the Wealdstone game, they were just a better team by far.
Yeah,
they played really well, didn't they? But we made it easy for them, though, didn't we? That's the thing.
We just.
Who do you think's played well this season?
There's not Hope's played well, and I'm really sad about what's actually happened.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, we do wish you well, as we said at the start of the show, and I hope every fan thinks the same. So yeah, Hope has been a standout player. Is there anyone else who you don't rate at the moment? Who would you change? Who would you swap around, or who would you give a chance to?
I think we need a new. We don't really need a new right back, but Jordan Clark, I think, needs to go now.
Right.
His performances have been very, very poor.
What did you think of Charlie Wellens when he played? I thought he played quite well. And that David Okabui, I think he's called, from Stoke. What did you think of him?
Yeah, he was good. I think the lad who've just signed on loan from United, he shined out. Yeah, he shined out a bit. But it's getting over and over again where we're just getting the ball from the back and we're kicking up the pitch, and we're just thinking, just hoping for the best for someone to get their head on it.
Yeah, like I said again, Boreham Wood that is not going to suit us against Boreham Wood. They'll lap that up all day long because they do have a colossal back four. They really do. And like Brett was telling us before, that they're not just tall and strong, but they're also mobile as well. So it's going to be really difficult. Who would you play up front, Michael, on Saturday?
To be honest, I wouldn't really say.
We've not got that many options, have we? We've got Fondop's fit, and Luamba's fit.
There's no one else.
Yeah, I think we should try putting Vaughan with Luamba on. I think them two together are a bit of trouble.
What do you think, Simon?
I was thinking Tolick probably. I think he's got a bit of an eye for goal, and he's got a bit of a track record of scoring a few goals. Just playing him off it. Probably playing 2 off Fonda. That's what my view would be, unless we can get somebody in. Is there any rumours about that, getting somebody in?
There is an unsubstantiated rumour. I don't know how true it is, but we're in talks with Leon Clark, who is another 38-year-old striker, but he does know an eye for goal. He's played for Southend, Sheffield Wednesday, played for us on loan for a bit under Shez, so Shez knows him. He is a goal scorer, but I don't know what his capabilities are now at 38.
I think we need more energy. Let's bring John in. Sorry, John, you've been waiting very patiently. How are you doing, John?
Thank you so much for waiting. Unmuting.
You still there, John? Unmute your mic, mate.
John, unmute
if you are. Can. Maybe John's gone for a slash.
John.
But yeah, I think we've fallen asleep.
What about getting Craig Davis back? Can't somebody just ask him to come back for a couple of games?
No. We need what we need is, like people have been saying. We've been saying this on the podcast with about this was Jim Sims, but there was nothing we could do about that. That was Mo and the previous lot, wasn't it? That was a problem. So, I mean, do you give Fondop and Luamba a run out together? Are they too similar?
Is that what you'd be doing, Michael?
I think, put them two up front. I think ball on. I think it will be a bit. I think they'll struggle a bit.
I think we need
but Vaughan and Burgess to run the show, ball players. We do need some mobility in midfield, don't we? People in and around to keep the foot on the ball, to find passes, to find runners. Like Luamba's going to. I think Luamba has to play now that Hope's injured because he's the only player that's going to cover ground. Presumably he's back up to fitness.
Can Ben Tolick not play up front, or is he a
He's more of an attacking midfielder, winger sort of? And I'm not keen at all from what I've seen of him. He's very inconsistent. You know, he's very
like Bahambula, I think.
Yeah,
he on the ball.
Makes the wrong decision at in the final third, doesn't he? He should play the simple ball, but then he goes and tries to he telegraphs what he's going to do and then gets tackled. He did that so many times against Chesterfield on Saturday. And again, when he could have squared the ball to Hope, and it was a one-on-one with the keeper with Hope in the middle, he went and shot and blazed it wide in at the side netting.
That's when I went mad. But
so Sorry.
Go on, you go.
No, I was just thinking. I was trying to run through the formation in my head, and like, do we play 4-3-3? Do we play a 4-2-2? 4-4-2, sorry. Do we need more numbers up top? Like, it's up to Shez to work this out. What our most efficient team is at the moment, our most dangerous team. But
I wouldn't say do 4-4-2. I don't think it would work at all.
I don't think 4-3-3 works because we can always get overrun in the midfield. Again, like at Bamber Bridge in the friendlies, we got overrun when we converted to a 4-3-3. Charlie Cooper did well, but again, he was getting overrun and Gardner was knackered. Do you know what I mean? And it was just.
But yeah, the formation. It's very sort of like really like those formations really only are what you drop back into, aren't they? What you fall back into shape when you're setting up when the opposition have got the ball, really. Because when you've got the ball, you've got to be more dynamic, haven't you? You've got to occupy certain
4-3-3 to drop into a 4-4-2 when they're on their attack. But we haven't got that ball-winning midfielder. Cooper, although he gets a bit of grief, I thought he did well when he came on against Chesterfield because he showed a bit of grit, bit of bite. He was getting stuck in, and he was getting overrun because he was on his own because he was with him in the midfield.
Well, isn't Threckard really the nearest we've got to a ball-winning midfielder at the minute? Then
he did well against Aldershot, but he was poor against Chesterfield, weren't he?
But I agree with what Dad just put in the comments. He put, "Can someone tell Shez the players don't always make better decisions?" Or it's already on the screen.
Oh, yeah. No, you can read it out though.
Because they're NL standard. That's why they're here. And that's why they need
coaching. Yeah, they do need coaching, don't they? And they're looking up to the likes of John Sheridan and Tommy Wright and saying, you're the guys that have been in the game for a long time, and they want that experience, don't they? They want to know what to do. And you have to, it's like, if you look at I can't, mate.
All right. Okay.
If you look at Shez and not Shez, Pep and all these top coaches, these top players, they are top players, but they are coached so meticulously, aren't they? They are drilled. City don't just play like they play by accident. They don't just play because all the players are great players.
It's just a trained well.
They spend hours on their preparation, and they study everything, and they are obsessive, and and the whole squad becomes obsessive because it's an infectious trait that these managers have. They get everybody to buy into it, and that's what we need at the football club. In the DNA of the football club, there has to be this obsessiveness with how we're going to play, how we're going to bring players through, it all has to be led by somebody who has that, like Klopp and Pep and these. I mean, I know we're talking the very, very top of the game, but I'm sure that look at what the lads at Lincoln who sort of like helped to
Cowley brothers.
They brought through that spirit and that attention to detail and that ethos and that culture, and that's what we're lacking. And somebody has to be at the helm of that. And I think ultimately, is that John Sheridan? Maybe not. But you're shaking your head there, Simon. Well, probably in the long term it isn't, but like in the short term, has he got enough to sort of like just to steady the ship?
Didn't the guy last week say, the Chesterfield fans say that all he did was tell them to go out and play their own game? And I'm not being funny, but we haven't got like 11 Zidanes going out there who know what to do on the pitch, are they? If you tell them just to play their own game, it's just going to be like 11 headless chickens, aren't they?
Another thing,
Go on,
Mike.
Another thing, what's ruining us as well, we don't press the ball. And you look at teams in our league who press the ball and they win the ball more. You go pitch faster. We don't. We hang off the ball. It's like we're afraid of the ball.
That's it. But pressing, an effective pressing game needs the whole team to know when to press, how to press together. It has to be coached into you. Again, it's not something that just happens on every. It has to be organised, and that's not. We're not seeing it. So. Look, what we need, and I'm not saying that Shez is or isn't this because I'm not following him around every day, but what we need at this club for the next 5 years is somebody who's coming in every day for hours and hours and hours and meticulously to build up every single element of the footballing side of the club and bringing in all the right coach. I'm sure the people in the club know this, but we have to have an obsessive. I don't know who the last obsessive was. It was probably Lee Johnson, probably.
Yeah.
Maybe Dino. I don't know if Dino was like that.
Lee Johnson was a great coach.
That's what we need. We need to have somebody who is just planning coaching sessions to the nth degree, keeping coaching really, really fresh, really vibrant, really energetic, and building a 5-year plan on the footballing side for things. And it's not going to be easy to find that person and pay that person or whatever, but I would imagine they're going to have to be somebody who is at the earlier end of their career rather than at the later end of their career, I would say.
I think that's what's ruining us, because Shez, I think he must think in his head he's trying things when he was coached last time, and it's not working at all now because he's playing like old like thing. It's just not working. I don't think it will ever work.
Right, so we're running out of time. So, Michael, what score do you think it's going to be on Saturday against Boreham Wood?
Don't think we're going to score a lot. I'm going to go 2-1 Oldham.
Oh, who's going to score, mate?
If if Vaughan and Luamba are on, perhaps go for. Actually, no. Yeah, I'll go with Luamba and Ben Tollett.
Oh,
fair enough.
Right.
That sounds good.
Simon?
I hope you're right.
Right.
I'm going to go 2-1 as well.
Who's going to score?
Bondot and Tollett.
I loved it. I love this. I love like we've been mourned, like we spent the whole thing talking about how we struggle in and how we struggle, and then we can't help but sort of like predict that we're going to win. Like like it's not like in my gut, I feel like we're probably going to lose on Saturday. I really do. I think like Boreham Wood. Looking at Boreham Wood's results, they've won 3, drawn 1, lost 1 of the last 5, and I think they're a more organised, more effective team than we are. We're going away. It's going to be
form as well.
It's going to be really, really hard. But I don't want to turn around and say that Latic's going to lose, because you kind of feel like you're contributing towards some kind of like.
It depends. It depends how we are on the day. I think if we come out in the first half and we absolutely nail them, I think you might actually score a bit more than 2. But you've got to see how it is on the day.
We need them to do. We need them to do it for their mate Hallam Hope, don't we?
What
really?
are you saying? What your score?
I'm going to go for 1-1.
I'm going to go for a 1-0 Oldham.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I hope we win. I hope we win.
Who? Jordan Clark. Why not?
Jordan Clark.
No way. No way.
Hey, Michael, will you do us a favour?
Yep.
Will you give us will you call in again?
You've been really great. Simon, you do as well, please.
Yeah,
John,
absolutely.
if you'll mute yourself, you can go on the bloody call. But gutted that you can't. Please come in next week, and we're really glad that you've all followed the link and the instructions, because we do need callers. It's all about you, for the fans, by the fans. So, yeah, please do. And also, we may be having a few surprises up our sleeve in the next few shows. So, yeah. John, are you unmuted?
I am. Sorry, lads. I had to put Littleton to bed.
No, it's all right, mate. Well, can we get you on next week, pal? Is that all right? Because we're just about to finish, and we did want to get you on a bit earlier, but you have been very patient, so you could be our first caller next week. Is that a plan?
Yeah, of course, no problem, lads.
Thank you very much for your patience. Well, can we get your prediction before you go?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to be a bit sort of negative here. I can't see us getting anything. I'll be honest.
Right, cut him off. I'm joking.
I think we'll be lucky to get away with a 2-0 defeat, to be honest with you. I can't see where the goals are coming from.
Yeah, I'm inclined to agree with you. I think it's going to be really, really... I think if we get a point on Saturday, it'll be a really good result. I really do. It's going to be a really tough game. But yeah.
Yeah, but as I say, keep your eye out on the next few shows, because we have got a few surprises coming up. So we look forward to it.
Have we?
Yes, we have.
Oh, I don't know. It's a surprise.
It's a surprise.
Yeah. Listen, thanks a lot, everybody.
Hopefully, when we come back next week, we'll have 3 points.
That's it, mate.
When we're back next week, we'll have played Woking as well, won't we?
Yeah,
we forgot
6
about
points.
that.
Come on, Michael. Come on, Michael.
6 points, hopefully, then.
Michael, you've been brilliant, mate. How old are you, by the way?
Me?
Yeah.
I'm 16.
Right, okay. Fair enough. I think that's a 36 then. Thanks, mate. Been brilliant. Thanks very much.
Yeah, nice one. It's good to get the voice of the full range of Latics fans, and yeah, let's hope. John, do you think we'll get anything out of the next 2 away games then, Boreham Wood and Woking?
Listen, for me, it's no, I don't. I don't. We've got 16 defenders and nobody else. You know what I mean? It's just no good, is it?
No. I listen. I don't disagree. I think it's going to be really, really tough. I think this is going to be these next 4 games are going to be. They're going to be tough. They're going to be
Brilliant.
tough. I'm glad we got you on for a couple of minutes anyway, John.
But come on next week, mate. Yeah, thanks very much.
Yeah, we'll do, lad. Cheers.
Nice one. Thanks, Si, for
Simon,
getting in touch as well.
Thanks to Anthony. John. Thanks to Binman. Thanks to Brett Lewis. Thanks to you, Matt Dean.
I'd like to thank our Lord and Saviour Jesus Christ. I'd like to thank Joe Royal.
Thanks to John Sheridan. And thanks to all the comments, guys, because it has been brilliant, honestly, seeing this reaction and clicking the link. So we'll see you next Wednesday with 6 points.
Yeah. The Banter Pack Alert System is hosted and produced by Matt Dean and Andy Halliwell for Q Pod Productions. Visit oafcpodcast.co.uk for loads more info, including how to support us for just $2.99 per month, how to sponsor the show to raise money for the 1895 fund, and to read Arlene's brilliant weekly blog. Please follow and interact with us on social media at OAFC Podcast, and you can help change the game by listening to us on the Fan Hub app along with all major podcast platforms. Please like, subscribe and review the pod to help us climb the rankings and get more listeners. Pushtheboundary.co.uk and oasf.co.uk are where you'll find out all about our official supporters groups, getting involved and continuing to raise money for the 1895 fund. Don't miss the Latics Football Phone-In with myself and Dave Bradley every Wednesday from 8:30 till 9:30 at youtube.com/The Boundary Park Alert System. Follow us on socials at OAFC Phone-In. You can also catch us on the brand new Greatest Manchester Football Podcast live every Thursday night from 8 till 9 on the Greatest Manchester Football Podcast YouTube channel. Follow at GMFootPod for all the details. The title music for the show is by DJ and producer Starion with an R, and for more information visit bandcamp.com/Red Laser Records.